Hey guys, so much interesting video on the Wild Rift. So they're back with a Varus updated complete guide for patch 4.2, and this is the first of the multiple updated complete guides I'll be doing for Varus. And the reason why I'm doing multiple, even though normally I only do one, is because Varus has a lot of viable builds right now. So this is like the Lethality AP hybrid. There's an on-hit AP hybrid. There's like full on-hit. There's like Lethality itself, and there's also full AP, but I'm not gonna cover full AP because full AP, none of the items actually changed except Nashor's Tooth. But in the context of AP, Nashor's Tooth now is able to give AD as well. But in the context of full AP Varus, it's still gonna give AP, and really nothing has changed. I'm not really gonna cover that again. I am still gonna cover Lethality though. Lethality, where is Lethality? Lethality though, because Man Immune did get buffed. But anyways, the first build we're going to cover is the hybrid build. So, hybrid build is pretty simple. You go for double lethality items into Seralda's Grudge and then double AP items. So, I'm just going to refer to this as the hybrid build, even though there's multiple various hybrid builds, because obviously this is the one I'm referring to. So, let's go over it straight away. First up, we start off with Yomu's Ghost Blade. This is one of the best items, like it's probably the best starting lethality item because it gives you the most attack damage, 15 ability haste, the most armor penetration at 15, and also of course gives you the passive that gives you more movement speed as well as giving you attack speed whenever you consume your momentum stack. So this is lovely for Varus to of course get a huge injection of lethality and AD to like of course start hurting with his Qs. Afterwards, you go for Age of Night, which gives you the max health, the AD, again another 50 AD, as well as additional 8 armor penetration. But this is more so for the safety of having the spell shield. And spell shield is really important on Varus because he doesn't have any mobility spells, and you guys will see in the gameplay later on how useful the spell shield becomes. I like going for Boots of Lucidity because I don't really feel like defensive boots or any of the other boots really help Varus all that much, at least for this hybrid build. So I like going for the Lucidity boots for the extra ability haste to spam my Qs more often. Of course, in a lethality build, that's going to be really helpful. And then we move on to Seralda's Grudge, which gives you again more AD, more ability haste, armor penetration, and the Icy passive, which is really useful to help your team chase down enemies and to help you kite them out when they're trying to chase you down. Now we move into the AP section of the build, where we first go for Riftmaker. So Varus generally stays in combat for a couple of seconds before he's able to really cast his Q to break the blight stacks anyway. So this is going to help you deal that extra true damage. Also gives you like Omnivamp health and AP. And of course when you go into the AP section of the video, not the video, why do I keep saying the video? Of the build, Varus is going to start bursting people down really easily. So when you have like full build, the Riftmaker and the Death Cap is gonna make it such that your blight stacks being popped is going to basically destroy a squishy target instantly, especially combined with the lethality. So the lethality damage on your Q plus the blight pop from your like AP part of the build is going to completely destroy enemies. Of course, having the Omnivamp and such is helpful as well, and of course Death Cap to boost your AP even more. And that is basically it for the items for like this lethality AP hybrid. And for the runes, I've actually gone for Lethal Tempo. Now, Lethal Tempo helps you out because I feel that even though you have half lethality, I feel like Airy is no longer that good anymore on Varus because the poke is really little anyway. So I think that Lethal Tempo helps you in a sense that in lane, if you're attacking someone, it's going to help you attack faster. It's going to help you apply the blight stacks faster in lane. And when you get to late game as well, like when you have like the AP section of the build, having Lethal Tempo allows you to apply the blight really quickly, especially in conjunction with your passive and the attack speed from there. It's going to allow you to apply the blight stacks really quickly, and it's going to allow you to pop them real quickly as well, and it's going to overall increase your damage by a lot. Now I like going for not Hunter Vampirism actually, but that was from a different build, didn't really change that, but I actually like going for something like a Triumph, which of course helps you execute enemies and gain health when you do that. Of course, something like a Weakness is also very helpful because of your ulti, and you can also go for Giant Slayer if you're against a tanky team, but that's kind of really up to you between those three runes. Now you have to go for a Bone Plating, of course, for the anti-burst. I think Perseverance is good, but it's not really that good on Varus because if you're getting CC'd, you're likely gonna die anyway. So I prefer going for Bone Plating for the anti-burst. And finally, I'm going for Sweet Tooth, mainly for the mana. So basically, this is a choice between Mana Flow Ban and Sweet Tooth. In the gameplay, I actually took Transcendence, and you will notice that Transcendence is good in terms of getting his cooldowns back more quickly. However, you have too much mana issues for it to be the optimal choice. So you need Sweet Tooth or Mana Flow Ban for the mana, and I personally felt that, you know, Sweet Tooth gives you more health and gold as well, so why not just go for Sweet Tooth? Mana Flow Ban is a really good option as well. And finally, we have, of course, the Flash and Exhaust. Pretty standard, but you will see that in other Varus builds, like for example this one, you will actually go for Ghost instead. So Ghost is also viable, but I think on this particular build, I think the Exhaust is going to be better. So with all that out of the way, let's jump straight into the gameplay. Okay, so here we have the gameplay. Forgot to mention this at the start of the video, but of course be sure to check out the Varus basic guide that we released yesterday. So first, check out his skills leveling order, you know, skills, combos, tips and tricks, etc. And of course, also remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. So, one of the nice things about Varus is he kind of fits very well into any team comp. He fits very well with, for example, engage supports. He can, of course, follow up, you know, and engage really well with his ultimate, or, you know, just land. Or if not, if you're like an enchanter, you can easily land, poke, and etc. So here we have some shenanigans going on at level 1. I'm getting chased down by Nautilus, so I have to blow my flash to ensure I don't get CC and just instantly die at level 1. Of course, Master, no idea what he was doing in the enemy jungle, blows his flash, dies, and forces me and Senna to flash as well, and Senna also healed. So it's a terrible start to laning phase. We basically only have my Exhaust left, and on the enemy side, Nautilus still has flash, and the Zeri did actually somehow use everything as well. So I guess it's not as bad as I initially thought when I was playing the game, but you know, it's still pretty horrific what just happened there. So anyways, as I was saying, Varus plays really well with engages, really well with enchanters, really well with even like a Senna, because, you know, he can follow up from Senna's root and such. And yeah, so Varus just fits really well, not really support dependent. And of course, depending on what kind of playstyle you're playing. But, you know, we're gonna stop talking about Varus and the 100 playstyles he has. We're gonna talk about the one we are playing now, which is the Lethality one with the AP hybrid. So of course, you're building Lethality first. So as such, you're gonna max your Q first, because you want your Q to be doing damage because of your armor penetration. Afterwards, you want to max, of course, your W second, because the AP part of the build is going to come into play. So here anyways, Nautilus goes for an all-in onto Senna, and I actually managed to burst down the Nautilus, so we end up trading 1 for 1, and I get the kill onto the Nautilus, which is, of course, pretty amazing for me. So here I'm going to, of course, I wanted to bag, but I realized I'm in a 1v1 against Zeri. I'm not too scared of Zeri at lower levels. She's actually chunked out when I'm at full health. I'm, of course, only running out of mana, but, you know, it's fine to stay in lane, clear out the wave, and then I'm going to recall. And I can, of course, start picking up my items to start going towards Ghostblade. Okay, so in the meanwhile, Rammus has actually caught out Senna, if you guys take a look on the minimap. But thankfully, Zeri has backed, and Nautilus is not really nearby. So Senna, you know, isn't really in any real danger, and she is just fine. So it kind of ends up wasting Rammus's time there, which ends up being a good thing. So now we're back with the Dirk and the Longsword, and basically all we're trying to do here is, we're of course just trying to land poke, just doing normal Varus things. Even with like AP or whatnot, you probably still would want to land poke anyways with your Q. It's just how effective that poke is actually going to be. So here anyways, we allow the enemy team to push us in, allows us to easily, you know, CS. And yeah, so Varus's laning phase is relatively boring, because you generally have pretty low interactions with the enemy, and you generally just poke them down and just farm up. So of course you want to be generally trying to aim for the enemy, like ADC or enemy support if you can't hit the ADC, and minions are secondary. You don't really want to be aiming towards the minions, because you have no reason why you want to queue minions unless you really need to shove out the wave quickly, like to prevent a dive or something like that. Here, Nautilus gets caught by Senna's root. I managed to get the chain CC. He ends up dying to the Senna who flashed forward, and here I exhaust the Zeri in order to save the Senna. However, as you guys can see here, I've run out of mana. So if I had mana. I could have tried to snipe Zeri with my Q there, but since I ran out of mana, you know, that's a no-go. No mana to cast Q, so instead we're gonna have to settle for only the kill on the Nautilus, or rather I should say we settle for the assist since Senna is the one who got the kill. But yeah, so from this game I didn't realize how bad Varus's mana problems would be, because I'm really used to playing Lethality Varus and having the mana mune as my first item. So the moment I get my first back and get my tier, it really isn't an issue anymore. But of course playing this hybrid build on Varus means that I don't go for mana mune at all, and it means that I'm gonna run out of mana real quickly, which is of course something I didn't really realize in the game itself. But now, after playing this particular game, I now know that, and now I know to get Mana Flow Ban or Sweet Tooth to circumvent the problems that Varus has with his mana. So anyways, here you guys can see with the Ghost Blade, we're gonna do a lot of damage now. We're almost instantly one-shotting the wave with just that full charge of Q. And here you can see Dragon is up. Now in this game we have a Kaisa in the middle lane. Yeah, ADCs in mid lane and top lane are becoming really common now that ADCs are quote unquote OP. Personally, I still think that playing ADCs in other roles is not very good. But here we managed to set up a bush camp for Irelia, and we managed to score a free kill onto her. Here Lethal Tempo is coming in to increase my attack speed. Also the kill from Irelia, of course. So here I'm stacking onto multiple people, and I'm hitting the Q onto the Zeri with the snipe to secure the kill onto the Zeri. Of course that's a little bit off screen because the Varus range is a little bit too long to really catch on screen itself. But we do manage to secure the kill. And once again we've run out of mana, so we're gonna have to quickly reset, restore our mana and start building towards the Edge of Night. Another Serrated Dirk Longsword combo in the bag. Now, we've actually gone to 3-0 and 3 in terms of KDA, so we're doing relatively nicely. Slowly accruing our goal and our items, and slowly building a lead against the enemy team. So here there's a huge wave coming in, so we're gonna basically destroy the wave with our Q. Like, that's how much damage your Q does. Basically you can see we one-shot like the melee and the ranged minions right there. And yeah, so obviously Rift Herald is up, so there's a fight going on at Rift Herald. So far it's me versus Zeri 1v1. Now Zeri is not really the strongest in the early game either, so I don't really expect her to be going in on me or anything like that. But if she does, I can easily just ult her and finish the job. So here I'm checking if Nautilus is there, because I wasn't really sure if Nautilus was there. I popped the fruit to try to bait her into going for it, which will allow me to land free poke, but she doesn't really take the bait. Instead I'm just going to go for the wave. Nothing too much is happening here. It's just two ADCs just staying in the lane farming minions, and nothing too much else is really happening. And yeah, I can see both of us cleared our wave together, and as that happens, Senna and Nautilus both make it back into the lane, and it becomes a 2v2 yet again. So Nautilus once again engages onto Senna. Senna once again hits the root, but this time she's really low. Zeri flashes forward. I managed to get the root onto the Zeri, but unfortunately, she still ends up dying. However, I do manage to trade the kill onto the Zeri, and with the additional attack speed, I'm able to nearly kill Nautilus, but with a flash auto, I'm able to finish off the Nautilus. So you guys can see, it turned out well overall. So that puts me at 5-0 and 3. So it turned out pretty bad with the Senna getting caught out by the Nautilus, but it ended up being okay because I was able to trade both kills since they both focused the Senna and used basically everything on the Senna, giving me free reign to free fire and launch my attacks. You'll also notice in this fight how useful the Lethal Tempo was. So I think even when I go for like full lethality, I'm probably gonna go for Lethal Tempo instead of Aerie now, because Aerie's poke is pretty little, whereas Lethal Tempo can really help in all-in fights like that, where if I didn't have the Lethal Tempo, I wouldn't have the attack speed to really attack down the Zeri and the Nautilus, and I probably wouldn't have been able to trade the kill there if I had like an Aerie. So having the Lethal Tempo is actually coming in really handy, and I really like having that attack speed on Varus. So with that, we actually completed our Edge of Night. Edge of Night is really useful, particularly against Nautilus and Rammus, who are likely to try to go in on you. Speaking of which, Nautilus ults me with my Edge of Night on, so nothing really happens to me. Thumbs up. I'm completely safe, completely fine, and yeah. So once again, my Senna is off roaming, but it's not too big of a deal. Nautilus already ulted me, and as long as I don't, step up and get hooked, I'm gonna be completely fine. So here I'm just clearing out the wave, and I'm even able to go for a skull. So here I'm popping the plant to get a little bit more mana, and then I'm just gonna clear out this ward. And Kai'Sa has rotated to the top lane, I guess, to help us push the tower. Nautilus and Zeri are mid, so in the meantime we're gonna trade. Actually, that's not Zeri, that's Irelia. We're gonna trade the tower regardless, and they're going for mid tower instead. Dragon is 40 seconds from spawning, which is obviously gonna be our next huge team fight. And here we're trying to get mid lane parity before Dragon spawns. Of course, standard stuff, standard thing to do. And of course, another standard thing to do on Varus is to try to land poke. If you're going for like lethality, or like in my case half lethality, you want to try to get poked in, you know, before the actual fight starts. So here we have the lucidity boots into the Zhonya's. Of course, gonna be really useful when Nautilus, Rammus, or Irelia goes in on us, or even the Gwen actually. So a lot of options of how people can go in on us. So here we're going for the Dragon. The enemy team is split. The Irelia and Nautilus are coming in from the bottom, whereas the Rammus and Zeri are at the top. So here Rammus tries to go in. I hit the ulti on him to kill him, and I exhaust the Irelia to prevent her from, you know, killing my team. And Rammus picks up a double, not Rammus, Master Yi picks up a double kill. I also pick up a double kill, and only Zeri is left up. For some reason, Master Yi decides that the best thing he could do here is to run down the Zeri. I have no idea why, but instead we end up securing the Dragon, and he ends up dying to the Zeri because he chased her all the way to under the tower. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. But yeah, our team is doing great in general. I'm 7-0-4. Graves is 5-0-4. Of course, Master Yi and the rest of my team is not doing too hot. But whereas if you take a look at the enemy team, it's mainly Irelia who's our main kill threat. Zeri, if she gets to the late game, could scale up and become a problem as well. Technically speaking, that's also true for Gwen, but Gwen is 0-4 right now, so she's not really an issue until, like, you know, maybe another 15 more minutes if the game even lasts that long. But for now, we mainly need to look out for Irelia, mainly because Irelia can easily dive us in the backline and easily just kill us. So we really want to look out for Irelia, and we mainly want to save our exhaust for the Irelia. So you can see how the exhaust worked really well against the Irelia in that last fight, and without it, you know, it would have been a really troublesome fight. So that's kind of the value you have of exhaust, but of course Ghost is really good as well. Here Rammus for some reason goes in on Kai'Sa, and you know, I just get in a little bit of free poke onto him. Of course I cannot one-shot a tank, so once again just landing the poke. With any kind of lethality build on Varus, you always want to be looking to land poke. On AP, you know, probably not, because you're not going to do any damage anyways. On hit, you can also look for poke, because since you're building a D, you know, you're going to do damage to your Q. Once again, Nautilus outs me with my spell shield up, so once again, nothing happens to me. Senna does get knocked out though, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, so here we're rotating over to the top lane. We're basically sieging the tower at the moment. Rammus is taking a lot of free damage. He decides to finally go in, and he does end up dying to the Graves eventually. Here Gwen is trying to run us down, so here I'm actually backing off. Main reason why I'm doing that is because I don't have any mana to cast skills, but my team has it covered. Once again, my team is just running them down, and we do get, you know, the kills on all four of them. In the meanwhile, Irelia is busy split pushing the bot lane, so I've recalled to help to defend against Irelia, and I've pinged my team to go for the inhibitor. All I really have to do here is actually to just clear the wave. I don't actually have to fight Irelia at all. So here I was suspecting she was actually on the blue buff. So here I was actually trying, not blue buff, red buff. I was trying to interrupt her. Turns out she wasn't there. And of all places, she's actually right there. So here I exhaust her and flash the wall. And my team is collapsing onto the Irelia already. Here I'm just trying to land a shot to try to help spot her out, but she ends up basically escaping. No real big deal in my opinion. We did lose both of our sums. I guess that is a big deal, but you know, we didn't die. We're still relatively healthy. We did all right. We managed to save the inhibitor when our team managed to get their inhibitor. So overall, I would say that it's quite a positive trait. Probably not the best idea to face check an Irelia, but I did it knowingly, knowing I have both my sums, my Edge of Night, and my ulti, so probably wasn't gonna die there, unless I, you know, badly miscalculated or badly misplayed the situation. Okay, so anyways, here we're just clearing out the wave. Next dragon is, you know, gonna spawn relatively soon. And here we spot Gwen in the enemy jungle, and basically what's happening here is the Master Yi and Graves are simply just running her down. I'm staying a little bit away because I don't really think we should be really running anyone down on the opposite side of the map from the objective that we actually want. But with the kill on Gwen, we're actually going to go for a Baron, I believe. So here I do manage to pick up the blue buff, which finally kind of resolved my mana issues. We end up not going for the Baron because Graves has no mana, and Master Yi decides that he wants to go for kills instead. Gets ulted by the Nautilus, gets taunted by the Rammus, and here I'm trying my best to help him out, but I'm not really doing too much damage against these tanky targets, at least not instantly, but over time. I exhaust the Irelia once again, try to get the snipe on her, doesn't quite work, but we do manage to get the kill on Rammus instead. Zeri is now the next target getting chased down by Master Yi. Master Yi is pretty low, and Irelia and Zeri are both really low as well. So here we spot the opportunity with the Rammus dead. We can rotate to Dragon to pick up Triple Dragon, which is of course a really strong win condition. And of course we are gonna go for that Triple Dragon. Now, Master Yi decides it's a better idea to go for Baron instead, and that is debatable. I think that going for Baron is not a very bad idea, but ends up what happens is my team splits. Me and Kaisa go for Dragon, whereas the rest of my team go for Baron, so we're gonna get both objectives, which is probably the best possible outcome out of this all. Instead of all 5 people committing to one objective, we split up 3-2 and end up getting both. So here, I recall, I'm of course going for the AP portion of my build now. I'm going to build towards the Riftmaker. And now we're of course heading back out. And on the way, we're just gonna farm up the Raptors. And now with the Baron buff, we want to use it to push. So ideally we want to push mid and bot lane. Graves is going top for some reason, but I don't think that's a very good idea because of the fact that we already have the inhibitor there, so we really want to be pushing bot. I'm pinging for my team to split between top and bot, but obviously it's in solo queue, it's a little bit hard to organize your team. So Senna apparently is going to go push bot, and the rest of us are of course just going to go ahead and siege mid. So of course while this is happening, Graves is still top. I guess the good thing about that is he is of course kind of distracting them while the rest of us are pushing in the other lanes. However, he's kind of getting caught out at the moment, and I scroll the minimap, I realize there's no way we're you know, gonna save him, and he does end up dying. His first death actually there, he was 7-0-7, he's now 7-1-7, so he gives over a huge shutdown unfortunately. Now I'm 8-0-8, so I don't want to give away my shutdown either. So here we're actually just waiting for blue buff to spawn. I'm really keen to get blue buff because obviously I'm having major mana issues, but I spot a fight happening, so mana's not really the problem right now. The problem is me needing to help my team. I managed to actually land the ulti on multiple people spreading all over the place, and we do actually end up basically killing the whole enemy team, and off of that we're probably going to be able to end the game right here. No blue buff required. Baron buff has expired, but you know, of course that is irrelevant. We're going to quickly destroy this tower, move on to the enemy base, and of course because we already destroyed an inhibitor prior, there's no more shield, so we are able to pick up the victory. And as usual, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.